Let's talk about division of polynomials. So we did addition and subtraction. You have to have like terms. Multiplication, we looked over that. Multiply the numbers, add the exponents. So division is similar, but there's two different methods. So yes, we will subtract the numbers, or sorry, divide the numbers, subtract the exponents. We'll do that in one method, but then sometimes there's two terms that we're dividing by. So there's a special method we're going to learn here, which is synthetic division. So what you need to look at is in the denominator, is there subtraction or addition, which means is there more than one term? Okay, if you're only dividing by one term, then you're going to split it, and then we're going to do very similar to what we did for multiplication. Okay, if there is not, so there's two terms in the denominator, we're going to do synthetic division. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So anything after the divided by sign, that's technically the denominator. Okay, so this is your denominator, the negative 5r. So there is one term here, which means I'm going to split, which means this. I'm going to multiply each term, so this is the numerator, each term by negative 5r. So I'm going to write a negative 5r underneath each term here. Once I've done that, I'm then going to divide each of the numbers, subtract the exponents. So I'm going to first start with negative 75 divided by negative 5, which I believe is 15. And that will give me a positive 15 because negative times negative. And then for my r's, I'm subtracting. This is 4 minus 1, which will give me an r to the third. Then I'm doing 30 divided by negative 5. What will that give me? And then r to the second. Yep, 3 minus 1, 2. Then negative 50 divided by negative 5. Positive 10. And then r to the first. 2 minus 1. Okay, then here, I can't do 9 divided by negative 5, can I? Well, I got a fraction. So that becomes negative because it's a positive divided by a negative, 9/5. What happened to the r's? Yeah, they did. They divided out. And then what about this last term? Same thing. Yeah, it's just going to be minus 16 over 5r. You're just going to write it like that. Okay, you do not want to slide the r to the middle, so that is very important. Some of you might want to write it like that, but technically when the r, so if I have like 1/2 x, if you have a term, a variable in the middle like that, it technically belongs to the numerator. So you never want to slide a denominator up. You can take the numerator and put it in the middle, but the denominator is in the denominator. And then we would leave the answer just like that. So let me let you guys try this one real quick. And this is very similar. We would just put the 2x squared y squared underneath each term. So go ahead and try that. We'll go over this in just a minute. Okay, let's take a look. So in our first term, we're going to go 14 divided by 2, which will give us a 7. Then we're going to subtract 8 minus 2 on the x's, so we're going to get x to the 6th. And then y to the 2 minus 2 is 0, so those are just going to cancel out. All right, what about our next term? What is 90 divided by 2? So 45. And then we got x to the second and y to the second. All right, so the next term, it's positive 20 divided by 2, 10. And then you have x to the 6th minus 2 is going to be x to the 4th. Now what about the y's? Yeah, you could go y to the -1. You could write it like that. If it's asking you to write it with positive exponents, where would the y go? You guys didn't watch the last video for module 5? You go down. Yeah, it would go down. It would go in the denominator. So if you didn't do module 5 yet, or sorry, homework 5, you got to make sure you do that. It would go down there. So subtraction or a negative exponent moves to the denominator. Okay, then the next one, you have 6 divided by 2 would give us a 3. And then x squared, y squared on both, those are just canceling out. So there's our answer. We've got 7x to the 6 minus 45x squared y squared plus 10x to the 4th over y plus 3. Okay, so again, if you get to that negative exponent and you're confused, that's Module 2 Homework 5 video. Okay, so now we have a binomial in the denominator. So this is x minus 3. So we have a different method here called synthetic division. So here's the steps for dividing by synthetic division. That's what you're going to do for these. So you're going to first arrange the polynomial in descending powers with 0 for any missing term. So what that means is this. I have a 7x squared. I'm missing an x term. So I'm going to put this as plus 0x to the first. And then minus 9. So this is that goes 2, 1, and then remember this is technically x to the 0. So I'm going in descending order. Okay, so I arrange it there. Then step 2, I'm going to do this little symbol right here. So it's like the division symbol, except it's flipped upside down and rotated 90 degrees. So I'm going to call it division pants. And in the division pants, I'm going to do the opposite sign of what's here. So this is x minus 3. I'm going to put a positive 3. Then I'm going to line up the coefficients for this, which just means I'm going to take the 7, the 0, and the negative 9, and I'm going to write them right here. Okay, then I'm going to do my steps 3 through 6 for my synthetic division. So I'm going to draw a line right here. So here's what we do for synthetic division. You're going to start by bringing down the first term. So I bring down the 7. Then you are going to multiply the term 7 times the term in your division pants. And you're going to put the answer right there. So I'm going to draw this line and I'm going to write, if it will let me, multiply. There. So 7 times 3 is 21. Then I'm going to add 0 plus 21. So 0 plus 21, 21. Then I repeat. So 21 times 3, 63. And then I add negative 9 plus 63. 54, I think. 54. And you keep doing that until you get to the end. Now, you write your answer. Your answer is 1 degree less than what you started with. So we started with x squared, which means this is going to be x to the first. So this is going to be 7x to the first plus 21, and then we have a remainder of 54. How you write your remainder is going to be like this, plus 54 over your denominator, which was x minus 3. So the remainder, if I can spell correctly, and then your denominator. Okay, if the remainder is 0, you don't need to write the 0. So You just have no remainder. Okay, so let's take a look at this next example. The degree of the first term of the quotient is 1 less than the degree of the first term of the dividend. The leftover value is the remainder. Which is what we just did. All right, let me walk you through another problem. Okay, so this one's longer. So I'm first going to look at the numerator, and I'm going to make sure it's in descending power. So I have x to the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So I'm not missing anything there. Okay, so I'm going to put my division pants up here, opposite side, so it's going to be a 3, and then line up these coefficients. So I have a 2, negative 13, 25, negative 12, negative 5, 15. Okay, draw our line. We're going to start by bringing the 2 down. Then we're going to multiply with the answer here. So 2 times 3, so we're always multiplying by this 3. Does not give you 3. 2 times 3 gives you 6. Then we're going to add negative 13 plus 6, negative 7. Then multiply, negative 7 times 3, negative 21. Bring this down. 25 minus 21, positive 4. Multiply, 4 times 3, 12. Negative 12 plus 12, 0. Multiply, 0 times 3, 0. Add, negative 5 plus 0, negative 5. Multiply, negative 5 times 3, negative 15. Negative 15 minus 15, 0. So we are 1 degree less, which means this is an x to what power? 4. That's x to the 4th minus 7x cubed plus 4x squared plus 0x minus 5 with a remainder of 0. So then when I write out the answer, I go 2x to the 4th minus 7x cubed plus 4x squared. I don't need to write the 0x minus 5, and I don't need to write the remainder. Okay, so let me give you a couple problems to try. All right, so first problem, we'll go x cubed minus 14x squared minus 6x minus 3 over x minus 4. Do a multiplication problem. Seven x plus 1 squared here. And then let's do another division. That should be good. Okay, so when I first look at the numerator, I have a 3, 2, 1, 0. So I'm not missing any x's. So I don't need to fill anything in with zeros. Okay, I'm going to set up my division pants. What's going to go in there? Positive 4, because we want the opposite sign. What's in front of this x cubed? A 1. So we got 1, negative 14, negative 6, negative 3. Okay, we'll bring down the 1. Then we'll do 1 times 4, and we'll get 4. Negative 14 plus 4 will give us a negative 10. Then we'll do negative 10 times 4, and we'll get negative 40. Then negative 6 minus 40 will give us a negative 46. And then we want to do negative 46 times 4. Anyone want to tell me what that is? Negative 184? Should be negative 184. And then negative 3 minus 184 is going to give us a negative 187. All right, then this 1 is what degree? Squared, yes. So that's x squared. That's x. This is your constant, and then this is your remainder. So if I'm typing this in, I'm going to type in just x squared minus 10x minus 46 plus negative 187 over my denominator x minus 4. Any questions on that one? Okay, second one, I have 7x plus 1 squared. So that means I'm doing 7x plus 1 times 7x plus 1. And then I'm going to want to FOIL that. So I'm going to go first, 7 times 7 will be 49. And then x times x will give me x squared. Then my outers will be 7x times 1 will give me a plus 7x. My inners, 1 times 7x, will give me plus 7x again. And then my last, 1 times 1, will give me 1. Then I'm going to combine my two middle terms, 7x plus 7x. That'll give me a positive 14x. So I have 49 x squared plus 14x plus 1. And then that's it. All right, and then number 3, I have a monomial in the denominator. So that means I'm going to divide each term by this 3xy cubed. So I wrote it right in the middle, so I'm just going to add another one underneath each of the terms here. And then for each term, I'm going to divide the numbers, subtract the exponents. So I'm going to go 18 divided by 3 gives me 6. And then I have x to the 8 minus 1 gives me x to the 7th. And then y to the 5 minus 3 will give me y squared. Then my next term, 3 divided by 3 will give me 1. The x's will cancel. Y to the 2 minus 3 will give me y to the negative 1. Now, if I'm asked to write the answer with positive exponents, I'm going to take that y, put it in the denominator. So that's y to the first in the denominator. I don't need the first power. But I do need this 1 up here because I can't have it underneath nothing. Then my next term, 9 divided by 3 is 3. Then I go x to the 2 minus 1 will give me 1. I don't need to write the 1. And then 4 minus 3 on the y will be 1 again, so I don't need to write that. So here is my answer. 6x to the 7th y squared plus 1 over y plus 3xy.